Hello, everyone. Welcome to our today's webinar on how to automate your Business Central administration tasks using Partner Admin Center. Partner Admin Center is a web portal that helps you manage all your customer environments in one place. And I would suggest everyone to start with the documentation of Partner Admin Center, which is at docs.partneradmincenter.com. And it can also be found in the chat of this webinar. Instead of the slides today, we are going to go through this summary and concise information available on docs.partneradmincenter.com. So starting with the main features of this portal, what can you actually do with it? So you can see all your customer tenants and environments in one centralized dashboard. You can then run bulk actions such as reschedule updates or change the app cadence or manage all your apps in one place. You can actually see all your apps across all the tenants in one place, and soon you will also be able to deploy PTE extensions and remove them. This can also be a handy feature to set up new environments, whether by copying them or transferring between the tenants, and by searching for specific customers and seeing which version they're using right now. So to get started, you can either email at sales@partneradmincenter.com or just log in to partneradmincenter.com and sign up to start using the portal. Once you've signed up, let's go through the initial setup, which can take some time before you can start using it. So the very first step would be to add a Microsoft Entra app, or previously known as Azure AD app, which will be used to authorize access to your customer environments for you. So you can choose to do one of the two. You can use Partner Admin Center generated app. So you don't have to do anything then, you just generate it and start authorizing. Or our suggested way is to create your own Entra app, which your partner organization will own. And we have listed the steps here, how to register that app, how to add the necessary permissions, and create a client secret, which you would be then adding in the portal company settings. Once you've done that, you can start adding your customers. So the next step would be opening the portal and choosing the Add Customer option, where you can either add a single customer, download a template and upload a list of customers, or fetch all the customers from your Entra app. Now, to use the final option, this would do it automatically for you, but you would have to first authorize customer environments to the Entra app, and only then you can fetch those tenants. Now, if you're just starting, you probably haven't done this, so you would have to first add them using one of the two manual options. So once you've added customers, you would start by authorizing them to you for your Entra app. And authorization comes with two steps. So first one is the authorization, and then granting the consent to run those APIs. And let's start by adding one of the customers here. Let's say it's a finance customer. And now, before I can see the environment information, I would have to go and authorize the customer. So it's a two-step process, and you can either do it manually or automatically. So if you're choosing to do it automatically, we have generated an URL based on the provided tenant ID, which you can press to authorize it. And step two would be pressing this link for admin consent. This will give consent to your Entra app, allowing it to run APIs. Now, if you are not able for some reason to use these two URLs, there's the B option, which is a manual option how to authorize the Entra app and how to grant consent to that Entra app in the Business Central Admin Center. Right? So once you have authorized it, the final step is running global sync. And once global synchronization is finished, you will see all the customer information and environments listed under each of the customers. Again, if you are in doubt, I would refer to the documentation here. And now we are going to proceed to the demo of the actual features of the portal. Now, first, this is a very handy tool to see, for example, that customer B is running BC 25th and a new version is available and my other customers are already on Business Central 26. And I can then bulk select all of them and reschedule their update to a later date. So in this case, it's showing me that these two customers were selected, and I can then select when I would like to run this update. I can also change the app update cadence for all the selected customers at once. And I can also change, like you would normally do, each of these individual settings in the individual environment. So this is probably resembling the Business Central Admin Center, as it allows adding the same settings that you would normally be adding. Individual rescheduling or changing the update window. And you can also see all the apps that this particular customer has. And I can also select all of the apps and bulk schedule an app update. Now, one of the main differences between the Admin Center, Business Central Admin Center, and this portal is that you can actually schedule an app update to run on a later time. This is particularly useful if you don't want to trigger a restart when your customer is working, and you also don't want to update the app after your work hours, so you can just select a later time when you would like that app update to run. So getting back to the main dashboard, there's also a handy filtering feature that you can either search by, let's say I'm only interested in customer C, or if I don't need to search for a particular environment or customer, I can filter them by categories. And this is particularly useful not only for filtering, but also for managing permissions. So say you have consultants who would only need access to a particular category. So what you can do is you can then create a role which can only see a particular category of your customers. So not everyone then can run commands or access every customer. If you don't want all of the customers under a particular category, you can also select individual customers to which you would like to have access to your customers. Now, for anyone interested on where to find the categories, they are listed under here, and you can create a new category and you can start adding your customer states from here. Same with the company settings. So this is where you would update your Entra app details, or in case you've previously used our created Entra app, you can also switch and start using your own Entra app now. Right. So now is the time when we dive into my favorite feature, so the apps management page, which lists all of the apps that your customers are running across different tenants. So let's say I'm interested in which customers have the audit file export app by Microsoft. I can open it here and see all the customers and environments that have this app. I can also filter by tenants, environment type, or environments. And let's say I'm interested only in the non-Microsoft apps, so I will then see all the apps that are non-Microsoft, and then I can also see all the apps that require an update and where they are installed. So you can then, once you select them here, you can then schedule an update for all of the apps at once. So this would, if I press an update now, this would instantly trigger an update for all of the selected environments. But same as in the individual environment page, I can also set it up to run on a later time. Now, if I like my particular set of filters, I can save them for later time so that next time I can only see non-Microsoft production environments and see only the ones that need an update, for example. Good. Let's get back to the documentation for now, and let's discuss security and privacy. When you authorize the Entra app in each of your customer environments, what you are granting permission to is two APIs. One, and the main one, is Admin Center API, and the second one is Business Central Automation API. The second is necessary for the for the future release of PTE management, while the first one helps manage all the environment settings. At no point you are granting access to Business Central data. This is not possible, and this data is not stored anywhere. So this is mostly just metadata, such as what kind of apps customer has installed, which version they're running, which localization, and so on. And since we encourage you as a partner creating an Entra app, you are always the owner of that relationship. So you own the authorization that is coming from your customer. Now, if you look at the roadmap of the portal, the current feature we're focusing our attention on is allowing per tenant extension deployment workflow. I am not going to share how it's going to work for now. It's still a few months along the way to be released, but this is something that, so we're not only going to show the PTEs from your customers, but also allow an easier way to deploy them from your development environments across all of your customers that are running this portal. And there are, of course, more features to come, but they don't have a specific time window, and only the bigger features are listed here. And of course, there's many small improvements that are done, and we encourage, of course, anyone to share what they would like to see in the portal. You can do that either by today entering it in a chat or emailing us and stating what you would like to see. This is where we end the demo, and we will proceed now to your questions. And I will open the Q&A part by going through the frequently asked questions, but please post your questions in the Q&A box, and I will look into them right away. So starting with the questions that we see often is about the PTE install and update. So this is coming. We are soon going to show the PTEs that are in your customer environment. This has just become available, and we are also going to make the deployment possible. Can we automate the setup process? Yes, we are also working on making fetching the customers easier and authorizing easier, but unfortunately, it's a process that will take some time initially, but once the authorization is done, you can then continue using the portal. A common issue is that synchronization does not kind of work, and this is because once you add a customer, if you press this sync button, which is actually disabled now by design, it would not synchronize. So once you add customers, the first time you would have to run the global synchronization in order for it to work. What permissions? So permissions we covered. It's admin center API and BC automation APIs that are required to run this portal. Common question is, can we access the dashboard? Can our people access it? So no, that's not available. We are not able to access it, and if you require any help, we can only help by you doing a screen share. So selecting time and date for a later update for apps, yes, this is available, and I've covered this in today's demo. And a question about the business model of this portal. So this portal will remain free for the remainder of the year. And we are to introduce the paid plans starting 2026. Announcements will follow later this summer. So now let's see if there are any questions. So I can see a question about the need. What happens if we need to update a connected or a linked app first, but another app is updated? So that would trigger the same process as you would have in Business Central Admin Center. I'm not sure if this answers your question, but happy to cover that later via email. Another question about the operations log once you trigger an action. So good question, and this is something that will be reflected in the Business Central Admin Center. If you run any action via Partner Admin Center, since it's using Admin Center API, it will also be logged in that log. And there's also a log available in Partner Admin Center. So you will actually see those actions in both of these logs, Business Central Admin Center and Partner Admin Center log. Okay, we have some more questions coming. So there's a question about the permissions you would need in order to authorize and consent on behalf of your customers for the portal to ask to get the permission to run those APIs. The last we checked, you only need a Business Central administrator permission to grant consent. But if in case someone encountered any issues, please let us know here. The Business Central administrator should be sufficient. We have a question about the user logins to the portal. How are they managed? There are two options now to log in. One is using your Microsoft account, and the second one is using a custom email login, and both of them are require multi-factor authentication to log in. And I don't know the specific details on how the security behind this works, but happy to share that via email later. There's a framework behind it that I'm not aware of. And there's a question whether Partner Admin Center is a Microsoft product. This is not a Microsoft product. This is our developed product. Okay. So for the questions received, we are going to update the Q&A section in the portal. So, and you will be able also to find the answer there. I don't see any more questions today. Feel free to email us at sales@partneradmincenter.com, and we are gonna take that from there. Thank you everyone for joining today, and wish you a very nice day.